Bailey Armour and Scott Shapiro back with another episode of Horse Sense. And this week we'll be talking all things cotillion stakes, Pennsylvania Derby, and then one stake at Churchill just to keep things Kentucky related, of course. Now, I took a look at the PA Derby card on Saturday. There's a ton of stakes races. Of course, I've got to do my little promotion shill just before we get started. We've got a bet 150, get 25 offer at Parks for PA Derby Day on Saturday. Scott, I know that you had the opportunity to take a look at the full card and some of these races and work on some content for the blog platform that we have. Do you want to talk about that and what you might have liked on the card?
Yeah, I looked mostly towards the back end of the card. I put out a couple of articles this week. We're recording this Friday morning, so it might be a little late for some of you to hear it, but I did write an article on the Pennsylvania Pick 4, which we have a hit it and split it. That's two races on Friday at Presque Isle, and then two, the Pennsylvania Derby, the ones we're going to talk about, the Cotillion and the PA Derby. Then I did another article, a bet, we have a promotion that you mentioned, the bet 150, get 25, where I looked at three races and gave out some suggested wagers that how I was going to approach it and earn my 25 free dollars. That's the best. I love those promotions. They're just so easy.
Yeah, they're really easy to play and easy to use, especially when you've got, all the work done for you like Scott has here in these blogs. So make sure you guys go and check those out. In addition to that, I know that one of the races in your sequence and one that we'll talk about today is the Cotillion. That's race number 12, just ahead of the big main event, the Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby. I've got a couple, as usual, picked out in this field. Of course, the standout in this field is the Grizzly Torpedo Anna, who I've been super keen on all year. I think it's going to be hard for anyone to beat her just based on, literally everything about her. I think she's one of the best horses that we have in training right now, especially after her Travers finish last out just behind Fierceness by a neck. And she beat some of the best male horses in the country in training right now. And there are some talented fillies here. The only reason that I probably won't bet her is just because she's just going to be bet down so far, and I don't really want to take that price. I've got kind of an interesting opinion here, though. Playing against her with the number 5, Sidamara. This is a Bill Mott and Jose Ortiz combination. Never out of the place money in 4 lifetime starts. That's 2 wins and 2 seconds, respectively. She's been training almost as fast as Torpedo Anna at Saratoga. Ran second by a nose last out to one of the other shorter price horses in this field, the number 1 Power Squeeze in the Delaware Oaks, and hasn't been seen on the racetrack since July the 8th, which is the longest layoff of any horse in this field. I think a lot of these horses have done a really good effort at Saratoga later in the summer towards the end of the meet in some stakes races like the Alabama, things like that. And she seems to be pretty fresh coming into this race. That's my biggest concern with Torpedo Anna, is that she did just run a huge effort in the Travers. Is this too soon of a turnaround for her, which is why I'm going to take a little bit of a longer price on the number 5, Sidamar.
Yeah, I'm not as creative. I just, I definitely respect the angle of coming back quick and how hard of a campaign it's been for the daughter of Fast Anna, Torpedo Anna. But and I mean, she was best in the Travers. I thought she lost by a head, but not to take anything away from Fierceness, but he just had a much less stress trip, just kind of stalking on the outside like he likes. But this is just such a drop in class. I think she can regress and still win. She's proven that she can sit off the pace a little bit. That's key here because you've got Gunsong and Mystic Lake to the outside. I'm not going to waste any more time. I wish you luck because you're the one that has a chance to get paid with Sidamara, but it's Torpedo Anna for me.
Oh, yeah. If in my heart of hearts, I think that she will win, and I really want her to win. But if I want to make even a little more money, I've got to try to beat her. But we'll see what happens come tomorrow.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you think Torpedo Anna wins the race most of the time, but not 9/10 of the time, then she's not the right bet. So not like I'm going to be betting Torpedo Anna to win, but in terms of the horizontal wagers, I am going to single her. But, you beat her. You don't need to get a lot of more separation. You could probably chalk out the rest of your sequence, and you're still going to, beat a huge percentage of the tickets out just in that race, just in the Cotillion.
Yeah, and then if you hit that 150, you get an extra 25. So it's a win-win all around.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, moving on to the Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby just after this race. Now, I was taking a look at the field. You've got your 2 shorter price favorites, Dragoon Guard, pretty deserving, but Like I said, I'm going to try to beat him again. With the number 8, Unmatched Wisdom, here he starts off at an 8-1 morning line. Flavian Pratt's back in the irons after a really bad race in the Travers. He got bumped at the start twice, and one of his hind wraps came off. He had such a bad performance in that race, but was like unbeaten with Flavian Pratt before that. So I'm going to draw a line through that and take a chance with Unmatched Wisdom against some of these shorter price favorites. I think Flavian Pratt is having an incredible year right now. He won like a record-setting number of stakes at Saratoga this summer. He's really on a hot streak for me, and I think he's a pretty underrated jockey. I mean, I know that he's not like an unknown jockey,
You
but I
think?
think,
Those are facts. Those are all facts. Those are
well,
not
there you
opinions.
go. Then they're facts.
He's one of the best in the country, and he's had a tremendous year. So I agree. I agree. Now I don't agree with Unmatched Wisdom though, but I don't think, I've talked a little bit about this throughout the last several months. First off, I don't think this is a great crop of 3-year-olds, other than Forever Young, who hopefully we'll get to see in the Breeders' Cup. But I think the rest have proven, and Torpedo Anna taking on the boys, almost winning, proved to me also that this is just not a great crop. So taking short prices in this crop, not ideal. Maybe Dragoon Guard, though, is just, one obviously very well-bred Juddmonte Farm home, bred out of the Stardam Filimbi, son of Arrogate. Maybe he's just better than these, but I think the pace is going to be pretty hot in here because not only do you have kind of some cheaper speed type horses along with Dragoon Guard, but I don't see any way that Seize the Gray and Unmatched Wisdom don't get more aggressive rides than they did in the Travers. Now, I know Unmatched Wisdom got bumped out of the gate, and I just don't think they were riding with the intent of being all in to make the lead like you would have thought on paper maybe. And Seize the Gray broke fine, and you would have thought his best chance to win the race would be on the lead. He tried to stalk. That's not his game. He struggles to get these type of distances as is. I think he needs to be on the lead. So to me, those horses are going to go. I'm looking around for closers. Now, the obvious one that can sit a little bit off the pace is number 11 Stronghold, the 5-2 second choice. He's not a closer, but with Antonio Fresu and an outside draw, I think he has a chance to turn the tables on Dragoon Guard, who got a better trip and beat him in the Indiana Derby. But I'm going to take a swing here with number 5, Protective, who's a Medaglia d'Oro colt for Todd Pletcher and Rapoli stable. He only has one win, and the win came in a 4-horse field when he was 1-20. So I'm kind of crazy maybe to pick this horse, but he ran a good third, I thought, in the Wood Memorial. He gets Irad Ortiz Jr. Todd Pletcher has always managed this horse like he thought he had talent. And I don't think this is the greatest crop, so I think someone can definitely step up and win this race if the race shape is like I expect it to be. So Protective for me.
Horse that tried to break his maiden twice, went to graded stakes races, couldn't do it, and then went back for 2 more tries to break the maiden?
That's him.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can
late be bloomer.
Protective with the price. Yeah, late bloomer.
Dragoon Guard. I just don't really think this is a very good grade 1 field, to be completely honest. And if Dragoon Guard gets pressured and he isn't up for the challenge, I mean, Dragoon Guard might be better than these horses, but if he's not up for the challenge, and Stronghold kind of runs like he did against Dragoon Guard last time, I think it's up for grabs.
Especially with a lot of the other, like, later in the Derby finishing horses, Mugatu, Batten Down, etc., running in stakes at Churchill instead of this spot here in the PA Derby.
I would have tossed them anyway.
Oh, but I think I'm agreeing with you. I think
enough.
it's a weaker 3-year-old field, and that really sets it up for a horse that might have a little bit of a longer shot on paper, but honestly, I think not really anyone's race here because, like you said, some of these 3-year-olds are pretty lackluster, especially after you have that standout talent of Torpedo Anna just before. But Protective, Unmatched Wisdom, Stronghold, I think those are all pretty fair choices over Dragoon Guard. I think he'll just be the only one that's bet down super far in this race.
I would think that Stronghold will take some money. He ran in the Derby, won the Santa Anita Derby. I think he'll probably be 3-1.
Yeah, he'll take some for sure. If I was going to pick a closer, that's who I would pick. And I haven't checked the weather forecast yet. If it was going to rain, then I'd lean a little
lot nicer here than I thought when we spoke earlier in the week. So, and I mean, I'm 25 miles away from Parks.
Oh, not too far at all. All right, well, let's move our tack back down to Kentucky and take a look at the last race we'll discuss today. That is the Dogwood Stakes, 7 furlongs for fillies at Churchill Downs on Saturday, race number 8. There's only one in this field that stuck out to me. That's the number 9, Helena's Forte. She gets a morning line price of 9-2. Impressive decently impressive resume, winning at 5.5, 6, and 7 furlongs. She ships and she wins pretty well. I think last out, she kind of had some difficulty at the start, maybe got bumped and faltered somewhat. Chased the leaders and ended up winning after that not so smooth break. She likes Churchill. She's run well here and has some pretty regular, almost every week, 4 furlong works. So she looks to be a pretty fit horse coming into this race. I'd probably need at least 3-1 to play her. If it was anything lower than that, I probably would look elsewhere for better prices. But for me, it's the number 9, Helena's Forte.
Well, I mean, you didn't mention it, but I think it's maybe for somewhat similar reasons, and or if it's not, it should piggyback on your point with Helena's Forte. I don't see very much speed at all in this race at 7 furlongs for a
Oh,
grade 3 event. And you look at the favorites in here, Fibber, who's 3-1 second choice, who I think would be the likeliest winner if the pace was honest. 2 real good efforts since Chris Hartman in Flatland Racing dipped in for 100K to claim this horse. So that's been a great claim. And then my main squeeze, the New York bred, who's 5-2, who I think maybe hasn't matured, or maybe matured early and has not continued to mature. I think she's a little bit vulnerable. But those are dead closers. So you got Helena's Forte, who I think will sit second, maybe go to the lead. I'm going to take a big swing, 15-1 in Reagan's Flame. I think Lindsay Schultz has found the home for this Daughter of Flame away on the dirt. 3 wins in a second and 4 starts, albeit against lesser. But I just think one of these fillies has a chance, whether it be Helena's Forte or Reagan's Flame. And hopefully both jocks don't see it the same and ride extremely aggressively
yeah.
because I think the one that makes the lead could be very tough, or there's a chance that Helena's Forte can sit second off Reagan's Flame, and her class and her abilities are just a little better. But that's the way I approach the race. I just don't think there's a lot of speed, so I'm going to try to beat the 2 favorites.
I would definitely take the 2 of those in an exacta for sure. I think you're right.
Oh,
There's
that would be tasty.
not a ton of, and I mean, that would pay great. So, of course, we'll take it. Not a ton of speed in this race. You've got, like you said, the 2 closers. But I think, I don't know, Churchill always plays pretty fast. I think I like to fade some of those inside post positions. And, I'm a big post positions person, so we'll save that lecture for another time. But especially coming around that turn in the 7 furlong race like they've got here, it's just about as far as you can go sprinting. And I really like that this horse is Helena's Forte has performed at that distance and pretty consistently. If she's not first, she's like right there with him. So I'll take Helena's Forte. Reagan's a pretty good shot as well.
I'll say one quick thing on the post, and then I'll let you close it out. I just, I do think post positions matter a heck of a lot more in one turn. Well, I think they matter in all races. I don't think they matter to the extent that you do on the micro level. I think in 2-turn races, being closer to the inside will help you with that ground loss, especially in that first turn. And then in sprints, I'd rather not be on the inside because obviously if you're the, quickest out of the gate, it's the shortest distance between 2 points. But I'd rather be able to kind of look inside. If I have my jockey look inside and kind of make a decision from there. If you're down on the inside, you kind of got to make decisions right away. You break a little slow in sprints, 1-turn races. It's pretty much over.
Pretty much over, like you said. Well, that is pretty much all we've got for today. Like I said, we've got that bet 150 get 25 promotion at Parks on Saturday. So make sure you check out the Express Bet and the First Bet social platforms for some content from myself, some content from Scott, and the rest of our incredible handicapping team. We'll see you at Parks in Churchill. I'm Bailey Armour. He's Scott Shapiro, and this was Horse Sense.